Welcome back, everybody, to the Car Grumps. Oh, look at that. Look at who is that? Over there with his awesome little cup. Look at that. Car Grumps glasses. It is Dozer J.
So nice.
The one and only.
What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody had a fabulous week.
Yeah, Dosh, I hope you did. And this, back to me, Primo, sitting in the darkness once again. Brooks says my Wednesday is now complete. So
complete it is.
That is good. I feel good about that.
Let's go.
What are we doing today? We
are live from the Car Grumps today.
That's good. You're doing great there. I think we're on point. I got it.
Let's go.
So I have to ask, as general, what is going on with your car world experiences?
Well, if you must ask,
I must. Yes.
No changes as of yet, and I just picked up and moved the truck to a new location, a reliable shop that I will give them a shout out because the professionalism of this shop is par none. They took photos of every single thing that they saw wrong, documented everything, and it's all legit. And I wish this is what I faced last year from the start, and now
I know what? I forgot something. Did we tell people? You know what? You know why I missed it? Because we did it on the pre-show. There's somebody missing tonight.
We didn't even mention it.
We didn't mention it because we were on the pre-show. So
but as you can
we
tell,
do a pre-show ahead of time so that we can talk to people beforehand. If you guys want to get involved with that, that's going to be a membership thing down the road. But go ahead, let them know.
Sorry, my buddy here is missing tonight.
Yep.
Yeah, big miss, but it's all good, Phil. We're holding it down for you.
Yep. So we wanted to make sure to say hello to Phil, who is out working right now, and hopefully he will be back next week. So anyway, I'm sorry. Back to your story, and Phil, see you soon. And I hope you're watching too. So I'm sorry. Finish up your story. Now I interrupted.
Phil better tune in, but I want to see some comments coming from.
Yeah, I do
Big
actually
Phil.
too. Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
yep.
Shout out to On the Line, Bridgewater, for their utmost professionalism handling vehicles coming in. You guys, that if you're bringing your vehicle to a shop somewhere, make sure you're getting the proper care that you deserve. Get that estimate written in an agreement before going through, because nightmares.
Definitely.
That's all I got to say is nightmares.
Definitely beforehand. Yep. But yeah, so you gotten your stuff all dialed in now, or you're almost at the end of it. Right.
So they ran through the truck, sent over the photos, everything that they deem wrong with it that is of concern.
Okay.
So far, it's still sitting. It hasn't even really made it to the shop yet, but
Got it.
I have high hopes. Thus far, the professionalism that they showed, I'm hoping that they carry on and get this truck done in a reasonable amount of time.
Right. And Joel says Phil can't comment right now. He's attending the meetup. I don't know what the meetup is, but he's. I'm sure. I have a feeling he's going to comment.
Just go over and give him a big hug from me.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Exactly. All right. Yeah, at some point we'll have Joel on if Joel wants to come on. He's the New England car show aficionado guy, so. Yeah, he's pretty good at this. So
what's up, Joel?
Yep. And that thing is we do need an update on this year's events, at least two in the New England area. But I do want to get some stuff. I'm going to say, because we have people from all around the U.S. that watch the show. So I do want to have an opportunity to kind of pull some of those in and get some of the big meets that are really or car shows, whatever, that are just huge things that are everywhere that we, if you want to drive and attend it, it's going to be a big deal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What are the big shows? What is besides the big manufacturer shows like SEMA, what is the biggest show that you know of?
Right. For me, the thing that I always went to was Hot Import Nights. It used to be, now I'm going to go back way in the day, but the Napi Nationals were always huge. But the thing that I really like, and I think it's kind of a New England staple, and it's for me the big thing, obviously Bass Pro, which is a bi-weekly thing that people just kind of gather. I don't think you can really plan for that more than you can just say if you're in the area kind of thing to get it done. But mine has always been Import Evolution. It just really is one of those shows that has been a staple in our area. It constantly is up. I always love the cars that attend it. The spirit of the event is always strong. And the only show that I really felt ever really I'm going to maybe use the word measured up to it, because we used to travel to Connecticut. I forgot the rapper that used to do his shows, but the one that really I think had the same kind of feeling was the Dub Show, and that was a big show. But I really think that Import Evolution's kind of, their show was a little bit better. Like they always had like an angle with it that just, it felt tight. You know what I mean? So
I think when I think of big show in the New England area that comes to mind, obviously it's not any longer, but World of Wheels.
Yeah, that
And
we were just talking about that the other day, right?
Where was the original venue though? Was it the Bayside Expo?
Yeah, so it was really weird. There was some other place that they did it, but I thought Bayside was the big thing. But I always heard, because when I worked, and I'm going to say worked with, not for. When I worked with HIN, and I was kind of the head blog writer at the time, that was the thing is we had Bayside Expo or whatever it was, and we had a lot of problems working with those guys. It was kind of a lot of pushback, and I think what it was really not them more than it was a lot of import guys showing up at an event, and they had just paved the place and there was all the stuff. So I think a lot of pushback came from that. But then World of Wheels came out. Oh, they had been there, I guess, for a while doing stuff. But I don't remember all the places that they did. And then the one I remember is the Seaport place that they did. And that place was huge. I love the layout of it. I did a couple of shows that were not car oriented there, and I really liked the place. I liked the spacing of it. I liked how the rows went and how the vendor fair went. That was a really good place to go for a show. You know what I mean?
I feel like the World of Wheels is one show that comes to mind that it is family oriented. You know, I remember going back, to when I was probably 5, 6, 7 years old, running around there, and like our parents would just cut us loose because. It was always just a good space. You could
always be assured to go see a wrestler there for some reason.
That is true. Yeah. I'm trying to think what wrestler. Man,
Vincent. It was a lot of times Vincent. Which is it? Vincent, the guy that was with Ted DiBiase. He would always show up, and he was a really cool dude. So I was like. It was
why do I want to say Macho Man was there one year?
He may have been. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember Macho Man. The last one that we went to that I specifically brought my daughter to, which was funny because we had the Pixar car for it, was Earnhardt Jr. And that was the one where she got to meet Earnhardt Jr. And we were like, we have Earnhardt's Pixar car, and we were supposed to bring it to get it signed. And he was like, yeah, I'll sign anything. And I was like, we didn't bring it. And I just beat myself up over it all the time.
Man.
Yeah. But she got signed from stuff, so she got away happy. And then she got a picture with him, so that was really
Can't
cool.
beat that. But as you said, Bass Pro Shop, amazing like event that it's just a pop up, and it's such a hit. So many cars.
Yeah.
I mean, cars for days.
Yep.
Like it's pretty impressive the amount of, but I feel like it's such a centralized location for all of Mass. You got people from the South Shore, North Shore, from the West hopping off 495. It's right there.
And that's weird. Geographically for us, we're a train wreck. Like getting any place. I mean, like I understand why people don't do. It was always funny because I always wondered why they didn't have a Grand Theft Auto game that was in Boston. And I was like, can you imagine people trying to find their way around that game? That would be insane.
They should. Imagine if that was a downloadable map, Boston.
Right.
You'd be like, yeah, no.
Boston.
I don't remember where my apartment is.
Oh, that would be funny. Well, Fallout 4 was located in Boston.
Oh, boy.
But I mean, if you turn the whole place into a hellscape, I mean, there's not really much change, but in the same respect, it kind of works out. But and they had no cars in that, so that kind of ruined. But it was still fun because you had people that would be like, "Hey, what's it like living in that area?" And I was like, "Oh, I'll go take a picture." And there's a thing called the Underground Railroad, so there's a big red line that goes through Salem or whatever. So I would film the line and show it to them, like, "Yeah, it's a real line" or whatever. So yeah, they enjoyed it. But that was the thing is we were talking about that earlier about how shows really succeed and how they fail. And one thing we were talking about, and I hate to use it because I'm used to this video game mindset when it comes to this stuff, and I didn't feel that way in the 80s and 90s. But as things went along, you started realizing that there was kind of a separation between all these different groups. So like in the 90s, we didn't have a lot of guys. So it was more like there was a very limited group of the tuner guys, which back then they called them race because they rose Japanese cars.
Right.
You had the muscle guys. And then you had kind of like the lowrider guys, or the guys that were kind of in between. I don't really understand. They didn't really understand the lowrider scene as much.
More
there.
show, less go.
Right, yeah. So we were the guys. I was the guy that I would take the car, do it up, and drive 30 miles per hour, and just be like, this is the coolness, while other guys want to take it to the track and go fast. I was more of the luxury side, and the caddy guys would, that kind of thing. But yeah, we all mixed together. But in the same respect, we had, knew you were in the hot rod group, you were in the biker group, or you're in what's now the tuner group. And that really didn't become a big deal and still start separating until I want to say post Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious.
Right. You started getting into these kind of groups that everything was really starting to change over.
Oh, yeah. Everybody want to be Toledo.
Right, yeah, everybody with the 9 second. Yeah, I do my night life 10 seconds at a time. Like, you haven't driven 10 seconds your whole life. Your car maybe goes like 0 to 60 in like 100 years. Stop it. So, but that was the thing is people got into it, and we really started to see like a video game would come out, and it would have the muscle guys, the luxury guys, the supercar guys, the tuner guys, and we started seeing this separation. And that was the thing is now that we have groups, I think it most times gets separated by, what group you're in. And then also like there's other things that are so like if lowrider guys have a different lowrider scene than say some of these other guys do. So there's this huge separation that's happening. And in some respects, it's good. Like you get to see this one thing. You go to a show to see this particular car. I think it brings more people to it, and the expectations are more solid. But the thing is it's still this kind of split. And I think that was the thing is a lot of people lost it. Like people would say, "Hey, I'm going to make this new car show or this new car club, and it's going to be all inclusive. We're going to let everybody in." And I started saying to people like, if you do that, it's going to fail. And they always did because you had this.
So you think it should be more direct?
Yeah.
And more, all right, this is a, 70s,
well, if you want it to
70s
succeed
vintage
now.
show.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
How direct and where do you have the cutoff? Where do you start? Like people like, screw that show. They don't want us here anyway.
Right. And so here's my thing to this. And I think some of these separations really happen naturally. Mm-hmm. So some of these will be like if you let's say you and I hang out, we both like luxury cars. And I know mine's not effectively a luxury car, but I still had the luxury car and then like the classed luxury car, if you will. And I still like, that's my kind of thing is that slow, moderate luxury car kind of thing where it's like, hey, this is how we drive. We connected on that level. And then we connected with these guys that are kind of in the mid range. So the BMW guys kind of got with us. And then we have different groups that really, I'm going to say we magnetized to that kind of thing. And I think that's true of like muscle car guys. Like muscle car guys will do their thing. They pull together. And I think what happens is you buy a car that you identify with, and then you start looking at that group and collecting. What I thought was crazy was there was a lot of people didn't realize this, especially in the 90s, was there were people that were buying cars based on how they wanted to be or the people that they were hanging out with. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's different.
Yeah, and it
so
was
like they wanted to be
accepted
into this group, so they were purchasing.
Totally. Yep. Mm-hmm. So like if you wanted to be seen with the Camaro guys, you didn't buy that Ford Mustang, because if you
right.
did, they're never going to let you in.
No.
Now today it's more domestic, so that's the American market, guys.
See, I feel like I've always gone to being the I don't even know, like the villain, like going the opposite, like being against the grain, like even going Honda Goldwing instead of hopping on a Harley. Like it's always been in me to go with something different, and maybe I just like being the outcast. Maybe I like to go, I love giving my BMW guys some trash talk, with the Audi gang, but.
Now, did you ever own a BMW?
No.
Okay.
No, I've driven one. My sister got a BMW. It's nice. Not a bad car.
Yeah.
But I definitely didn't want to go with the clique,
Right.
I like being the outsider.
Well, I mean, look, yeah, that's the thing. I had an 01 330 Ci, and I had an 01 740i X Sport. But it was funny that when I was owning those cars, I had the BMW, and I did have a Trans Am at the time. But who did I end up hanging out with? Silver City Soapworks. BMW. Like, yeah, she went through it. I got to show you the tire popping incident at some point. But that was the thing is I was hanging out with dudes that were driving Camaros and driving Mustangs, and that's the people that I had been with because I owned all these Trans Ams. Like I was a Trans Am fan, so I owned all those, and then so I came up and here I am in a BMW, and it was like I think that's maybe that played a part in how it kind of fell that I was like, yeah, you don't really fit here. You're gonna go someplace else, and like you were saying, we felt like we didn't fit in, and then I started going to other shows, and then I found people that I started clustering with, like I really matched up to these people. And when I did that, I noticed that the BMWs were gone and we were on to something else. You know what I mean? So.
I feel you.
Yeah.
And yeah, Harleys are awesome. Yeah. If you like oil in your driveway, as Joel says.
Yeah.
Same thing with the 7.3, I love my 7.3, but it definitely is going to leak some oil.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I think I like everybody mingling, just if you're into cars, if it's your thing, then don't worry about the person that came in the car. Like check out the car or mingle with those that are cohesive with you. You're gonna have your car grumps.
Now if that's the thing is if you said what you just said, which I thought was great, I'm gonna cohese with the people who are like me.
Yeah.
And then you go to a show.
So you think it's just a natural separation? Like it's just, no, like we don't see eye to eye. I'm a V8 guy. You're a 4-cylinder. It's just not like we're two different ballparks.
And that's the thing is that may play a key role in it. But I also think that it's also something deeper. I almost want to say that there's certain attitudes associated with certain cars. And you may have seen it. It's also based on geography. So the people that I'm hanging out with in Virginia are not the same people that I'm hanging out with here, the same people I'm, hanging out with in Florida. But those people, if they're good people, you want to hang out with them. And then you say, hey, I don't like hanging out with this group because they're rude and abrasive and they don't want anybody in their scene but me, but them. And that's the thing is you do have people that are, I'm going to say a little bit, their head is in the air. So if you don't own a certain thing, you don't fit in with them. You know what I mean? Like you can't drive a Honda into a domestic car club and expect to fit in.
True.
Right. So, but that was the thing is if it's like, I'm going to try to fit into a scene, I may find myself like, oh, look, I'm not this guy. Like when I owned BMWs, people used to look at me and go, okay, how you hang out with the BMW guys because they have attitude. I didn't run into that as much as they did. But that was the thing is they'd buy Mercedes or they'd buy whatever because that was where their people were.
Right, right. And I like what Joel did say right there with the generational aspect. I mean, obviously, we come from different generations. People have different opinions, and yeah, I mean, sometimes, like, I'm sorry, a Gen Z is not going to mingle very well with a boomer.
No.
You're going to have something, different things to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Different perspectives on the world itself. I mean, you know what made me feel old today?
What's that?
Somebody said, "Do you realize you're older than Google?"
Yeah.
Jeez.
You don't want to know what I'm older than. I'm older than, let's see, AOL. I'm older than database. Like, it's like, yeah, I'm about punch card old. How's that?
I thought it was hilarious though. You
Yeah.
know, it's just goes to show you the generational differences.
Right.
But it does fall into the car community as well. You know, we see things differently. You know, some people love their computerized cars.
Don't go with that Atari 2600, man. I started off with Pong. Like, that's frightening. I was playing the first game that I ever played that was licensed cars that when I got my computer I had to have was the first Test Drive, and it had the Countach in it, the Corvette, the Lotus, and the Porsche. And that was it, man. I had to have
Drive. It. Wow.
Yeah. 5 1/4 floppies, like, and I had a hard drive in the computer, so everybody was like, "You're rich," and I lost friends. Yeah. They think that's all new stuff. I'm like, nah, it happens now. So, but anyway, but no, you were saying something else there that I wanted to address before Joel hit me with 2600. Can you go back to that again? He's like, I forgot.
Yeah, I completely forgot. But one thing I did want to bring up,
yeah,
is the veteran community and the car community. I feel like there's a major gap there, but I feel like the car community supports the veteran community very well.
Yeah.
With the Mission 22, they're very involved in the car community.
Mm-hmm. I've noticed, and I've sent a couple of people to them, and it's so funny that how many people are so quick to say, I want to start a car show and I want to support veterans. And I think that's huge. And I'm hoping, I don't know much about it because they leave my hands once they're gone, but that when that happens, you know for a fact they're supporting veterans. You know what I mean?
Yes. And I do agree with Brooks here. A lot of vets are into the bikes. And me being one of them, I love the bike scene. I'm a part of the Combat Veteran Motorcycle Association. Shout out to Chapter 2-2. That's a local chapter over here. But one thing that I'm starting to realize that some of us vets are just sick of losing our friends.
Yeah.
And that's even like a deeper tie to it. Like thinking about while you're overseas and like we've lost people. And I think some people are tired of losing friends.
Yep.
And
I agree.
I don't want to pull away from the car, the bike scene and everything, but yeah, it's tough,
But see, that's a good example of what I'm talking about right there is that you're in this scene and you say, I would love to be into the car world, but there's no car club out there. There is one or two, I think, that supports the veterans. So I have a car. I want to support veterans. If I want to support them, I really have to go to something like the 22 Rally, for instance, is a good example. Yep. I'm going to go to that, and I'm going to do an event like that, and now I get to support people, and I see the success that's going on. But when it comes to stuff, is it true that you really would say, what and you said it, I don't want to get out of bikes because if I do, then I don't have that support scene for the veterans anymore, and it feels like it kind of keeps you to it because of it.
Yep. And I've seen the support out there. Both, the bike scene, of course.
Yep.
Jeeps. I was a part. I had a Jeep back in the day, and I seen a lot of support come out of the Jeep community for the vets as well, and the car community as well. But now, what I'd love to see is an actual veteran club.
Right.
With
now,
the
would
cars.
you want it to be just veterans, or would other people, non-veterans? Because I know with the bike scene that the only people that are involved are I'm gonna get the words together. So it's like you only have the veterans that are members, and the regular people are supporters.
Correct.
So it's veteran bikers, and then the supporters who are non-veterans, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Depending, there's a bunch of different clubs out there, and even like the combat vets, we're not a club, right. We're an association. But I think the camaraderie of the bringing the brotherhood together, and the membership should be just that,
Yeah.
vets. And then, we embrace the support. We appreciate the support. So if you would love to be a support member of something of that matter, then more power to it. Come on.
So now you brought up a good point too. So let's say we have a group of veterans and they like Trans Ams, and then another guy's into luxury cars. Like you have a luxury car, and then we have somebody else that's like a Honda guy or an import guy, like has a Skyline or something. Do you think it would be difficult to get these guys to kind of mesh together?
I think there's the common bond, of course, of the military, the experience, the brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we all come from different parts, but I think it would cause a cohesion, even if like outside, like say we go to a show and we wouldn't park next to each other,
Right?
You know what I mean? But when it comes down to it, that's your brother now, and like being a part of a club,
right?
So.
And then so we have over here, Brooke says it could be a melting pot, which I really like that idea. But then Jeff says no. Now, if you want to clarify the no part there, I'd love to hear it. But that's the thing is I kind of want to hear, what people's feelings on that. And then that comes that Jay rides a Gold Wing and most of us ride Harleys or Indians. Jay, come on.
That is true. It is true.
But I think with bikes, it's easy to just say,
yeah, we're on two wheels. We're all the same.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where there's
I'll pull up on a Grom, and I'll still outride you, Jeff. I'm just kidding.
But no one.
All love, brother.
But no one at the end of the day cares what he rides, and that's and that's what I'm saying right there. Is when it comes to two wheels, I think it becomes very easy to accept people into that circle. I think where it gets difficult is
listen. If we're gonna talk about anything in the bike community, it's the trikes, okay? I can agree with the two wheels.
I like trikes.
Trikes, and don't get me wrong. If it's a physical disability that requires you to ride a trike, by all means, embrace the freedom. Be out there on the open road, but if you don't need a trike and you're riding a trike just to lounge and you want to be a part of a motorcycle club or an association, I don't know. No, don't be lazy.
I'm lazy. It is what it is.
Yeah, and ride in the back. Ride in the back.
Ride in the back?
Trike.
Okay, yeah.
Get in the back. Anyway.
No, I was always fans of trikes and choppers. So, but I did probably end up buying a chopper before I got a trike. So
Victor, shout out to Victor. Victor was one of the leaders of why am I drawing a blank?
I don't know that the Blank Car Club.
Oh, the Blank Car Club. What was the car club? Victor, please help me out. I'm drawing a blank right now.
Well, go to his comment.
Team Unofficial.
Okay, there we go.
That's what it was.
Oh, yeah, I think I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So I was with these guys back in Georgia when I was stationed down at Fort Stewart. We had a car club out there. Victor was Subi guy, still is, I believe. And
talk about people that like it's the subby guys that always end up meshing well with everybody. It's like a cheat car, because you can rally with that, you can track it, you can cone race,
But it was a very diverse group, which the military usually is a very diverse group. But we had guys in a 300, SRT. We had guys in a Honda Civic on bags. It was, and then we had a couple pickup guys too, pickup trucks. So very diverse, but great cohesion, great camaraderie. Brought us together because even when you're in the military, it doesn't mean that you're gonna be like clicked up with these guys all the time,
Right.
But yeah, shout out to Victor for bringing it together. Team Unofficial.
Right. But that's the thing is it always kind of shook me that there wasn't, and I didn't realize it until we started the show. I think it was the first show that you brought it up, that we were like, hey, there really isn't some kind of like national car club for veterans to give them that just seemed like something, especially with the cohesiveness of, just the basic car clubs that we had, even ones that weren't all that great, is we had a ton of cohesion. It was, I'm gonna go fix something, or we're gonna do this, or we're gonna do that. It always really kept you busy. And I'm thinking one of the things they would suggest is to have that community thing going on all the time to keep you busy. You know what I mean? I know it helps me a lot. So
it was definitely a great thing. You know, we all helped each other with our vehicles, and yeah, we had a guy in house that was welder. He straight piped all our cars.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
I had a '02 Nissan Maxima.
Nice.
This thing was such a rat.
Yeah,
and yeah, I straight piped it.
What year was this?
This was back in 2013, 2012. But yeah, it was obnoxious.
That's funny. Yeah, that's
good times.
I got to get the video of the Celica. With the Celica going on, it was unnecessarily loud. And you would just be like, and I gave it to my wife as a gift because she's like, I just want to make it loud. And I was like, yeah, here we go. So, but that was the thing is it was something that could get her into the car world. So when I get to car shows, she could come with me. So it was a lot of fun. So it's Joel there with 200 Maxima with a 5-speed. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Dude, the Maxima, that was a fun little car. That 3.5 liter, 6-cylinder. Those things got up and went.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that owned Maximas that I was like, I really didn't think about it until now. Like that was a really, it was off in the distance thing, but yeah, it was still one of those cars that like people really, appreciated. Go straight pipe my Celica. It was obnoxious. Hey, there you go, Steven. And then the Silver City is the one that got the car, and she says louder than a Mustang, which it was. And then Jack saying, go Phil Bob, my big brother. So, yeah. But anyway, so, yeah, that's the thing is I think here we have something where it's this veteran thing, and here's something that I'm going to say, can I say we dropped the ball on it?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. What do you mean drop the ball? Like
I feel like somebody should have already put this together.
I feel like it should be out there. Maybe somebody's just waiting. I mean, we did hear of the one veteran car club, that's out in Western Mass.
Well, I want him on the show.
Yeah, definitely. He's got to get out here, and I want to hear more about it.
Right.
And I'm open to, expanding.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's a good group of vets out in this area that I know of that have some nice vehicles and would love to be a part of that.
Yeah. Have you ever reached out to them before and asked about it?
So I did try to reach out to him. I think we spoke shortly, and there we go.
Yeah, like Brooks already said, I'm down.
Oh, yeah. By the way, Brooks, that 7.3.
What is it?
I'm so jealous. His 7.3 he picked up, dude. So nice. Pick up? So nice.
What is it?
Brooks, send him a picture.
Yeah, send me a picture. Yeah, so I can see this.
So nice. Anyway, and then one place I want to mention, local pop up every week. And unfortunately it's going to be during our show. Maybe we can host the show from there, and I'm sure Paul would be open to this.
Okay.
The Lafayette Club. Wednesday nights.
Oh, yeah, the Wednesday night things.
Yeah,
why not?
I don't know. Have you been over there?
What's his? Tons of times. What do they have a good internet connection?
I'm sure we can make it happen. Well, we'll figure it out. We'll hit up Elon Musk, get some Starlink going.
Well, that's the thing is I think most of the times it was so funny when we did the one at it was
we need like a mobile station, like a news station with our satellite.
Oh yeah, that's what was the thing, $2,000 or something? I can get it. It was so funny. It basically pulls stuff out of the air. But yeah, we did the show, and it was a muscle car supercar show, and we ended up being a Honda dealership they were like, yeah, we're gonna connect Wi-Fi and use the Honda show, and I did my little test connection, and it was like. It was like 10 over 10. Like it was the worst connection ever.
Oh no.
And we actually had a good show. Like it came through fine. And I had my buddy Chris Bravo, who is easily my favorite designer when it comes to cars. Like he is just The stuff that I'll show you some pictures later, the stuff he comes up with, it is insane. And it is so much fun to watch him work. And every time he gives up one project, he goes to another. And it's just as good as the last one, if not better. It's just freaky. And I've covered probably 3 of his cars. And even he used to make car seats. So it was like he was the other guest that was on with me because I had co-hosts. I asked him to show up for the show. Nobody shows up. None of the production crew shows up. It's just me. And I go, I'm going to do this. And we did it. And I had him and the guy that worked for the show. And we had probably the one. So yeah, I'm not worried about it.
He sent it over to the Car Grumps Messenger. I don't know if you can pull up an image there. We're going to get him featured on here.
If he keeps talking, I can pull it up.
Go ahead, guys. I'm going to keep this show rolling while Primo is pulling that up. And, yeah. What was I just... So, I had something right on the tip of my tongue about to talk about. Oh.
We need to work... You know what?
Here it is.
What is it? What's the name of that stuff that we take? It's not... I think it's
Mushrooms?
like tangent. No.
Oh, no,
Will
sorry.
You stop.
Sorry.
Targian or whatever. They put it in energy drinks. It helps you with your memory. And notice I haven't taken it because I can't remember it.
Well, I didn't have my energy drink today. Usually I come in here and smack down a Prime Energy. Shout out to Prime. No,
Ooh, this is a nice truck.
Isn't it?
Wow. I got to see if I can get this on the show real quick. It'll be weird on the thing, but yeah, I'll see if I can message it over to
I hate myself for it. Just seeing these, like, where did you get that truck? I know it came from down south. You probably paid an arm and a leg for it, but beautiful truck. So, one thing I wanted to mention.
Yes.
Racing. There should be like some sort of
veteran
racing.
Mm-hmm.
I know Mission 22, you mentioned it before.
We do track.
They've done the driving experience.
We support the veterans and the veterans come out, but like I don't think a lot of them hit the track. They kind of support Mission 22, so they're kind of, I want to say they're behind the scenes a lot, but there's a lot of guys that drive the cars that are veterans too. So it's kind of like you don't, it gets mixed together, so you kind of don't see it, and it's more to support veterans. So veterans are kind of the receiving end. So it's kind of
I think the one main thing that we're always missing is adrenaline. The adrenaline rush. That's what we yearn for.
I support adrenaline rushes, and
I think that's an amazing thing to do.
Yes.
My thoughts were drag racing. You know, I not to say that's safer, but you're not hanging corners or drifting or straight line racing.
Mm-hmm.
How sick would it be to have like a non-profit set up to have like a pro stock car that we can get guys trained into racing?
I don't see why. I mean, that's just anything that I'll support anything that gives people further training on how to drive better and even further training to like, you know what I mean? So,
dude, this truck, man. I'm sorry.
He can
just
see
like
me downloading it right
now,
and he's like Googling over it.
So nice.
Yeah, I gotta get it. I gotta pull it off of the thing. So
you
you
just
guys
paint
can
it
see
Nardo gray for me.
What? This addiction with gray is getting weird.
It is weird. It is. There's something about gray that just it's satisfying. I honestly think it's my color blindness. But
that could be, yeah. Okay, because I got to go over to the download thing here. Let's do this. Yeah, it's gonna probably there we go. So I'll pull it over. There you go. So there's the truck. I didn't get permission to post this truck, but I'm gonna post it anyway. So
do you need permission?
Yeah. Well, kind of. I mean, it is what it is.
He shared it.
He did share it. Yeah. So, but I mean, that truck is just that truck is amazing. So
nice.
Right. It is what we call choice. Joel says this truck is sick. What about a mini sick week like they do down south from different drag strips in New England? How many drag strips do we have in New England?
I don't know. What's this one up in Maine about? Is that just like a
7 hours drive? Yeah, that's a yeah. It's a haul, but I mean it's good. It's a weird. It's a good. What was the guy talking about with the no prep races?
Yes.
Perfect no prep track. Yep.
Yes, sir.
So Brooks says he purchased that truck in New Jersey. New Jersey. It bought it from New Jersey Car and Truck King.
No salt in Jersey.
Yeah. What's that? Salt.
Yeah, salt. Is it salt in Jersey?
Jersey. Yep.
I know.
There's probably a lot of other things in Jersey too.
But that truck probably didn't come from Jersey. I bet. I don't know. It just looks far too clean to come.
If it says New Jersey Car and Truck King,
Jersey is a dirty place. No, I'm just kidding. No offense, Jersey. It just smells bad in Jersey.
You just apologize to an entire state. You're like, by the way, sorry, Jersey.
It smells
and I can just see Jersey coming back and just being like, yeah, we get it. It's cool. But no, so that's the thing is, so here we are. We've done something, and I think this is one of the coolest little, I'm going to say little microcosms
Banters.
we've ever created here. We kind of had this little petri dish here, and we started off with the concept of a veteran-empowered car club to veteran-empowered events to veteran-empowered this.
Yeah, and I don't mean to shove veteran stuff down your throats, but
what's wrong with shoving? I mean, like,
I love to see.
I eat it like lasagna. Come on.
I love to see people come together,
right.
And I feel like there's a lot of vets that feel out of place, and they want to find places to feel connected, and that's what I found, with the CVMA, and
Would I be weird in saying? And that's the thing. This is my opinion. I just think it's one of those things. It's not only is it a topical issue, but I think it's an easy to address issue that I think people don't address. I think it's very complicated in how we address it. But it's one of those things that I kind of say, I think people should be more involved with veterans, with the things that we're dealing with here, especially with this. Even if they just, let's say you don't understand the problems that veterans go through, you can still support it and support systems that help veterans. So it's one of those ones that's the most accessible. You have the most veterans that can go to it. All veterans, whether they need help or not, are going to want to support it. And I think it's one of those things of like, it's kind of like I go to car shows now and I see a lot more of it. But when I was growing up, I really didn't see a lot of veteran stuff. And I just feel like it's one of, like I said before, I feel like we kind of dropped the ball. And not just from I'm not saying the veterans dropped the ball. I'm saying for us as a car community kind of said, this is a problem. We have easy access and it could have moved a lot faster to help in ways that really would have made indicative change. The little stuff that we've done in 22 Rally, and I mean, I feel kind of, even how much we've given, is that I just feel like we're just a small blip on the radar of what we helped, but it's there, it's prevalent. We're seeing the people that we're helping versus if you give to some of these other charities out there, I don't see the effects, Right.
So
but
I
with,
do see
with veterans, I do.
One local shop that does a lot of work with veterans because he is a veteran himself.
Yep.
Larkin Motors over
Yep.
in Bridgewater. Check him out.
He has
Give him a follow.
What's the program? It's they do brake jobs for veterans, or is it anything?
Pretty much anything. And I've sent, I don't know, maybe 5 separate veterans his way, and he's always, taking care of them. And they're quick. They get the job done. And they even helped me out back when I had my Denali. I fell on some hard times, and they took my truck in. Did the rotors, and what was wicked cool is they threw a tune in there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
okay.
It was pretty nasty.
Yeah, don't tell the EPA that.
But yeah, great shop, and they're doing a lot for the veteran community with the Larkin Motors Foundation. So give them.
It's funny because you had said something about their foundation.
Yep.
And I had never actually seen their specific foundation. I went to 2 of their car shows, and I know that they were directly supporting veterans with the car shows that they were doing. So, and I did see good turnout for it. It looked like a really neat event. I didn't get to stay long, so on both counts, but it was good to be able to go over and do stuff. But then every time I heard about them, I thought they were supporting another thing. And then later on, they were like, we have this foundation that's going to directly support veterans, and it goes into having them get their work done and that kind of thing. So, yes. But I never got a chance to really look into it.
Yeah, and they did a sick giveaway last year.
Yeah.
Supercharged Denali truck.
Mm-hmm.
That was their big giveaway.
Yeah.
And I want to say they were working alongside Dirt X as well, another local group, Dirt X.
What are they?
I want to say it's owned by Richie Leone, who also owns RCL Mechanical.
Okay.
But yeah, he has some off-road stuff. I don't know exactly what they do, but I know they were going hand in hand, working together on a Razor giveaway.
Okay.
That was in support of veterans as well.
Nice. Well, there you go.
Little shout out.
So all of it is specifically just veteran support stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get out there, support the vets,
Right.
and don't be shy to ask questions. You know.
Right. And the other thing that I want to tell people too is that, and we're talking about a lot of vets, and the reason we are is the same reason we kind of say, from a standpoint of different cars that come together, this is what's kind of brought us all together, kind of thing. If you have another charity, as long as your event supports some kind of charity, I always say try to find some kind of support, because we don't understand how much our community outside of the car world has really just collapsed. And that's the thing is I used to do stuff all the time so I would do different charities outside, and then I go to car clubs, and if they did, or car events, and if they didn't have any kind of support, it was okay. Now I go to events outside, and I see very few of these support things that are going on with charities. And then, now it's I want to say it was 2009, 2010 that we really started pushing for charity stuff. And then now I see the car clubs and car shows picking up, supporting different charities, like brain injury was one.
I wish Phil was here tonight, because Phil does an amazing job.
Right, exactly.
Hosting these car events. I know he's done a number of them, as well as the car drive-bys, the birthday drive-bys.
Yeah.
I swear Phil's the one that put that on the map.
Yeah. He had the one that we did, we just drove in it, and we were going to film what it was like to do one of those. I didn't know if anybody outside had driven it, so we did one where we drove through and waved at the person. It had to have been close to 300 cars that drove past. So,
is that the one that left out of
I don't remember
the Ocean State?
No, I don't remember. There was a couple that left.
I swear that was nearby. The day I saw you, and you were like, "Hey, what are you doing with that camera?"
That was probably it. Yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, we had a couple of events that I think we really just passed by. You know what I mean? And it was really because it was a time when people weren't getting out, and especially with Phil's thing, he was really see a need and fill a need. And I don't think that Phil's not just the only one, especially in our area. I could probably, if I thought about it, named over 20 guys that really supported stuff both here and up in the northern Boston area, that said, hey, somebody can't make it to their graduation or something, we're going to drive by. And I want to say they had better graduation if they actually went to graduation. So we had one where it was like, it had to have been easily $1 million worth of cars that drove past this girl that couldn't do her graduation. And she was adorned in her graduation outfit and everything, and waving at everybody. And she really did appreciate everybody stopping by, but I don't think they realized what they were going to get when they asked us to show up.
Right. I see one thing that I would love to see more of is more events. Yeah. I feel like events are becoming a thing of the past. Maybe it's just the exposure online that people are getting, and they're like, why do I need to go to this? I got 40 likes on my card today.
Well, I'll tell you, and this is something, especially from being knee deep in it like I was, because this is not new to me. This is something I've been doing for a while. And it was funny because pre-2019, I'll say it like that, the biggest complaint that the car community started having was we had too many car shows. So people would say, you're doing a car show at the same time as me and you're taking people away from me. I said, if 6% of the population is car people, which is, that you'd think that's a pretty accurate number, right? That's still like 300. That's each show getting like 300,000 people per show to show up. So I was like, the problem is not people taking people away from your show. It's how you were advertising your show. People wouldn't put it on Facebook. They wouldn't advertise with their friends. And that's the thing is nobody teaches marketing in these things. They just kind of throw stuff at a wall and go, hey, I hope it sticks. And that's not marketing. That's, you know what I mean? And they sabotage themselves a lot of times.
I've seen that become a problem in the motorcycle community, just being, well, that's the week we're doing our run or this. Or
yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times it would be, the people that we're putting on the run with that are like, no, we can't do that because we got X, Y, and Z to do.
Right.
It's like, listen, if you're a part of this, if you're going to be putting this event on, this is the event.
Right.
You got to treat it like it's all or nothing, and put all your marbles and go all in. Yeah. Make it the event to be to.
Exactly.
That
yes.
You have to show up.
Right. And that's the thing is it's not just the reason those events, if you want to make it the biggest event ever, it's not just attendance. It's who's your star? Who's your thing? What are you pushing? What are you doing? There's so much more to this than just throwing a car show and just saying they're going to make it work. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a whole structure. Like, I'm hoping that you're going to go to the gathering after your reps for vets.
I will be there. I will be there.
So that's the thing is that you're going to get to see ground zero of why their events always succeed. Mm-hmm. And because they have this community that I've really wanted to build for 20 years, you know what I mean? So now that we've gotten past this area where it's like, now it's after 2019, people didn't want to go out because they were scared or whatever. Neither here nor there, right? But the idea that now they've gotten to the end of this and they've started to learn to say stuff like street takeovers are better because now we can get clout. We're not, before that it was post up on Instagram. We didn't even understand that those options were available. And now they're available, and it was people going out and doing takeovers, people going out and doing the drives. And it was almost like it changed. There really was a polar change in how we saw shows post 2020 because they just keep milking on this thing that we're supposed to be like, we can't hang out with each other. And I think it really is. I think it's still hurting us. So
I feel you. One thing that draws me to a show is always like the events or even the categories for a show. Mm-hmm. And not to make it so everybody leaves with a trophy either, because you have 35 categories. I don't want to stay for your 35 award ceremonies either. Mm-hmm. But I feel like I just had to go off like that. That was Phil right there. That was
a channeling of Phil.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I hope you enjoyed that one, Phil. Anyway, but yeah, I think there's a fine line, and
well, that's the thing is when we go back to it too. There was a time, and this was, good Lord, I wish I could remember a date. The guy that runs Rockland, I always ask him because he was right on point when the date changed between. People did car shows to collect trophies, and then everybody would complain that the wrong person got the trophy. And then it became, okay, we'll just do meets.
Well, he's your buddy judging.
Right, yeah. So, but the thing is we had and I used to see these judges, and you'd be like, that's exactly the problem. But he changed over and said, you can do the part of the car show or you can do the meet section. Mm. And he tripled his attendance because he made the meet option. And I think that's the thing is I think maybe the trophy thing has kind of gone out of people's minds. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel that they don't want to do trophies anymore.
I like people's choice. Yeah. In my own opinion. Right. I think I love the fact when people can walk around and take a vote on their favorite car. Yeah. And that's a good feeling.
The problem with
chosen
that,
on people's choice.
Right. And it worked really good. I won a people's choice once, so I feel like I can't fight against it. But I think that actually puts me in the position where I go, I know I've been part of events where car clubs would show up.
Right.
And they knew their boy was competing, so they said, we're going to take all our eggs,
all your votes
put it in the leader's basket.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And now you've got something that's like, that's not fair anymore. So that's the problem is we have
the participation.
Yeah.
You paid for your vote,
most of the time. I think then if you're going to do it that way, then say that people who are attending that are okay. You want to buy another ticket? It's like a spectator ticket. Buy that ticket, and that buys your vote.
Oh.
And do it that way, because that way, you guys want to cheat the system, then you didn't bring a car or whatever, that works. But if you're in the show and you're part of this thing, then it's the people who are attending and viewing the show that their opinion matters versus the people that are in the show where it's like, you know what I'm saying? I think that would be fair. So
we've all voted for our own vehicle at one point.
I have never, ever voted for my own vehicle. So that's the thing. And it was so funny. I learned so much from running Grand Theft Auto car shows. Mm-hmm. And we had one car show that was 3 lobbies. It was because it was like 30 a room. So it was like 90 cars total. So we had 3 guys. Yeah, it was crazy. And you're like, that's not a lot of cars. But if you think about it in a uncontrolled online environment where people have missiles, it changes the entire dynamic of it. And we were able to pull a bunch of those shows off. And I go, look, if we can do it like this, let's test it and try it over here. Mm-hmm. And will it work in real life? And it's crazy how much it actually did. And one of the things I learned for these car shows was keep them busy. People go to car shows and they stand around all day. They're not going to remember World of Wheels. You went there. You were like, I get to see cars. I get to see dragsters, or I can do touch of cars. I have all these stars that I can see.
Ladies walking around.
Right. Yeah. You get people you could talk to and just be involved. And you literally walked that, and it was a day of an event. It was like going to Disney for cars.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's the thing is a lot of people have to learn is, like when we do 22 Rally, you don't sit around. You're going nonstop. So
I like it.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to getting out on the track this year.
Yeah.
And trying that out. I got on the drag strip last year.
Yep.
And which is crazy. That's my first legit run down the track. Mm-hmm. I was shocked. Yeah, it was such a great experience. But yeah.
So do you want to drag strip, or do you want to do
I want to do a road race. I want to get out there, Thompson Motor Speedway, and let's let it hang.
Good one. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thompson's
so you will learn to be a better driver on Thompson. My 2 favorite ones now, is funny because before I was Club Motorsport was one of my favorites, but then after seeing Thompson, I really felt that Thompson and Lime Rock were the 2 big boys. And Lime Rock really because it was you raced where big boys raced, and that was the thing is you were like, hey, you see those GT racetracks? I've had friends that do IMSA and Super GT and all these other things, and it's like we're now on the track where they're racing or hanging out, and you could go into the pits and hang out with them. It's so crazy. It's so different, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I'm looking forward to a day out there on the track. I think, yeah, and I'm sure the viewers will love to see it.
Yep. Well, we should film it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. What's the other track? Palmer.
Yes, Palmer.
Yeah.
Palmer is so weird for me.
Yeah.
Because I saw it grow from nothing and I used to be around that area all the time. So it was funny, like I knew where they were building it, what they were doing with it, but it was like, wow, this is so weird. This is an elevation track. It has some weird angles to it. And you see the overhead pictures of it. It doesn't feel like it's overhead pictures when you're there. Like you're like, I feel like I'm in the wrong spot. But it just, and I've never actually raced it. So I do want to at some point take it because I like the structure to it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So so Thompson is your dream track?
Well, for the area.
Yeah.
I think. And last year I really wanted to get the Audi out at Seekonk Speedway.
Yeah.
For the spectator drags. Everybody's so against me doing it.
Why?
Well, I think it'll be fun. I'm not gonna obviously, if I get that Blazer up next to me hanging sideways, I'm gonna tighten up a little bit. But I think I can give him a run for his money. You know?
Why not?
It's definitely a great car for that track.
I just love. That's the thing is I don't think people realize how it's funny because I used to do skateboarding in the late 80s and. We were very, very underground, and then it became kind of mainstream and everything. Well, for that type of racing, people don't realize these guys are racing all over different tracks all over the U.S. And having these big competitions. And people are trying to figure out, what this is like. And I would like to see a road course version of that.
Ooh.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be something else.
Right.
Spectator drag on on Thompson, or
well, Canaan. I look at the Canaan track.
This is what we talked about, no?
Yeah. What's that?
Hot lap, and not to give away ideas.
I'm like, no.
But that's that would be
I
think street, just straight off the street, right. Run with your brung.
Well, that's the thing is I think what you were talking about with the veteran thing, I think not just car shows, but the idea of the car show event thing, like how Thompson used to do their stuff, like they'd have a car show with Broke East, but they would be on the track. I want to do something where you have the car show out there and people are running on the track and figuring out who's the fastest, and have it be a real, like, let's do some scoring. Like, you know what I mean? Like the old SCCA stuff when it used to be like, oh, it just has to be street legal. How hard can it be to run something like that again? And I know in some respects it doesn't work, and there is something more of a competition to it that kind of is like, okay, the guy who's going to be fastest, the guy in basically the Super GT car that he bought from Japan versus the guy with the Aventador. Okay, great. But when we see Seekonk, we don't see those problems.
Right.
And we've seen Teslas versus Corvettes. So how hard would it be to convert that to a track concept? But you have to it can't be big tracks. It has to be something like
tight, small.
Right. Canaan, stuff like that, where what people don't understand with those tracks, especially like the go-kart tracks, is that what you end up doing is you tighten up the space on them. So even bigger cars, no matter how much horsepower you have, it's the driver that's really going to dictate the lap.
Now, would that be head-to-head? Or is it
would have to be time trials.
Time trial, yeah.
Now here's the thing. I would love head to head, but the problem with that is that insurance, all these other things, that's the real thing that keeps us from racing a lot of the times is, and I know this sounds stupid. People are going to say, no, it's easy to get this stuff. A lot of people do not understand the concept of, so I got to have a helmet. You have to be able to do it so people can do it without roll cages and all this other stuff.
You got to have pants. Ask me how I know.
Always important, right?
Ask me how I know.
Yeah, exactly. So
I scurried over to the vendors at Import Face Off last year after going through the checks, and they tell me, you don't have pants? I was like, are you kidding me? You're not gonna let me race? I got a Snell rated helmet here.
Right. I got a Snell rated helmet, but not snail rated pants.
So I tracked down. I went to each booth.
You had the shell, but not the worm. Is that what you're saying?
Oh man! And everybody was selling T-shirts. Nobody was selling pants. I found this one guy, this one vendor. He was like, I got a pair of sweatpants.
I will buy your pants.
They're mediums. I said, listen.
I'll take it.
I will buy them. He's going, just give me something to hold on to, collateral.
Right.
I handed him $40.
Give me a rope and a thing and hopes and dreams.
And I came back and I bought T-shirts off him after with that $40. Thanks to whoever you are. I forget your name.
But no, but that being good advice, I also
bring
say
pants.
But the thing of being insured, the idea of insurance, all this other stuff.
It should be racers insurance.
There is racers insurance.
So
that's
if I crash my car on the racetrack?
Yes, exactly. There is. Yes. And it's, so there's.
That's my biggest fear.
Let me put it like this. So the camera keeps going back and forth because we're trying to keep up. But but the thing is that if there's an insurance company that wants your money, they will say, hey, $250 or whatever for one day at the track covers you for anything that you do for the track side of things. Who wouldn't? You think the insurance companies don't want to take your money? Like,
I would let it hang.
Right. That's the point. And the thing is so you get your helmet, you get your stuff, but there has to be a place that supports people doing this. And these tracks think that they got it all handled. They're just going to tell you what to do. These people don't know what to do. You don't realize how much out of touch. Like when I first came in, I was like, oh, I got it all figured out, right? No, you don't. And you go on a quarter-mile track and they say like, oh, you ran a 10. You go put a cage in your car. I mean, I know it's changed now, but like these rules come up and you're like, I don't have the money to do that. I just want to come out and enjoy the track.
Yeah, have some fun.
And I think that's where the drag strips now have failed us. So there's a new thing. But I think there's the open door for the track-based experience. The right tracks have to be selected. Something like a new NASCAR that tells people this is what you have to buy, gives them the place to buy it, and then lets them go out and compete on a track.
Chris LaFlower put it across to me last week how much it costs just to race every year.
Go ahead. Oh, please share it.
And I don't know exact numbers off the top of my head, but I want to say
enough.
the NHRA drag racing license to run sub nines is like $350 a year.
Yep.
I can understand passing that one time, getting your license, and maybe refresh every 5 years or every 10 years, but to do that every single year, maybe if there was an issue, if you had a close call or an accident or something, but I don't know, that seems like a grab to me.
Well, the thing is it's like when we used to run with NASCAR, and people say, well, why do you keep paying this stuff yearly or whatever you're doing? And I was like, because those are expenses that they're incurring too. Like they have to pay for a track or they have to pay for all this stuff. And if they don't have enough people that sit in those seats or they don't get enough buy rate on TV, they just lost money doing their job and you're out it. So for them, and that's a big corporation saying that, the little guy has
but I feel like they're going directly at their people. That's the lifeblood of the
I put
racing
it like,
association.
I'll put it like this: there's a lot of things that need to change in this world that people keep, and I'm gonna put it like this: there's a lot of people blaming the wrong people for the problems that we have right now, and life would be so much easier if people just looked at the truth and did the right thing and called it a day. So
really, just the people need to get together.
Yeah.
Boycott the system.
Right, exactly.
So many broken systems.
So anyway, we're starting to drop frames for some stupid reason right now. So I'm going to call it tonight. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys that made comments on there. Thank you we had some new faces and we had some old faces. We're hoping that Phil will be back. But as always, we're here every Wednesday at 7 p.m. to talk to you about cars, to be irreverent, to just let it all hang out and just do what we do best. So thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to see you soon. And do you want to say something? Bye, Jay?
Adios.
Adios, amigos.
Au revoir.